Welcome to a new compilation of 101 random facts that will make you question everything. Sit down, relax, and let's dive in. Number 1. When a Viking received a gut wound, they would be given a strong onion soup, which was not just a method of nourishment, but also an early form of medical diagnosis. After some time, the healer or those tending to the wounded would smell the wound to check if the scent of onions was present. If the smell of onions was detected seeping through the wound, it was a clear indication that the intestines had been perforated. This meant that the person had no chance of survival, as there was no way to repair such internal damage in those times. This simple but grim method helped Viking healers determine whether to continue treating the warrior or to prepare them for an honorable farewell. Number 2. Ants have a terminal velocity of approximately 1.778 meters per second, which means they can survive falls from virtually any height without sustaining injury. This is due to their small size, low mass, and high surface area relative to their body weight, which significantly reduces the force of impact. Unlike humans or larger animals, whose bodies experience greater acceleration due to gravity, ants fall at a much slower rate and do not reach speeds that could cause fatal injuries. This unique characteristic allows them to survive falls from trees, buildings, and even airplanes without suffering harm. Number 3. Crows are among the most intelligent birds, possessing the remarkable ability to recognize human faces and remember individuals for years. If a crow perceives a person as a threat, it will not only remember them, but also communicate this information to other crows in the area. Once a suspect is identified, the crows will engage in aggressive behavior, such as dive bombing, squawking loudly, and even gathering in large groups to intimidate or harass the person. This grudge-holding behavior has been observed in urban environments, where crows actively avoid or attack individuals they associate with past dangers. Number 4. Iran has had 27 different capitals throughout its long history, more than any other country in the world. This is due to its rich and tumultuous past, including changes in ruling dynasties, invasions, and strategic relocations. Each time a new dynasty took power or a major conflict arose, the capital often shifted to reflect the new center of control. The current capital, Tehran, is the 28th in this long line of historical changes. Established as the capital in the late 18th century, Tehran has remained the center of political, cultural, and economic activity in Iran ever since. Number 5. The Netherlands is home to the tallest male population in the world, with an average height of approximately 1.838 meters. This remarkable height has been attributed to a combination of genetic factors, a diet rich in dairy products, and an excellent healthcare system. Over the past century, Dutch men have grown significantly taller, with scientists attributing this rapid growth to a combination of natural selection and improved living conditions. The Netherlands' unique height trend has made it a subject of fascination among researchers studying human growth and evolution. Number 6. Peru is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, especially when it comes to butterflies. It is home to more than 3,700 species of butterflies, representing approximately 20% of the world's known butterfly species. Scientists believe that this number is an underestimation, as many species remain undiscovered. Some experts suggest that there may be as many as 4,200 different species in the country. The diverse ecosystems of Peru, including the Amazon rainforest, the Andean mountains, and coastal regions, provide the perfect environment for these colorful and delicate insects to thrive. Number 7. Peru is also famous for its extraordinary variety of potatoes, boasting more than 2,800 different kinds. The country is often referred to as the birthplace of the potato, as indigenous people in the Andean region have cultivated and selectively bred potatoes for thousands of years. Today, Peruvian potatoes come in an array of shapes, colors, and textures, ranging from tiny purple varieties to large yellow and red tubers. This diversity allows for numerous culinary applications, and many traditional Peruvian dishes prominently feature potatoes as a key ingredient. Number 8. Ethiopia follows a unique calendar that is 7 years behind the widely used Gregorian calendar, which means that while most of the world considers it the year 2024, Ethiopia considers it to be the year 2011. The Ethiopian calendar consists of 13 months. 12 months of exactly 30 days each, plus an additional short month of 5 or 6 days depending on whether it is a leap year. Additionally, Ethiopians celebrate their new year, known as Enkutatаш, in September, when the rainy season ends and the country is covered in yellow daisies. Number 9. Canada is known for its vast wilderness, but one of its most surprising features is that it has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. There are more than 2 million lakes across Canada, covering nearly 9% of its total land area. Some of the most famous lakes include the Great Lakes, Lake Winnipeg, and the stunningly turquoise Lake Louise. These lakes hold a significant portion of the world's fresh water, playing a crucial role in the environment and serving as important resources for local communities, wildlife, and recreational activities. Number 10. New Yorkers have a deep love for coffee, consuming 7 times more than the average American. With thousands of coffee shops across the city, from small independent cafes to global chains, coffee culture in New York is an essential part of daily life. On average, New Yorkers drink more than 3 cups per day, whether it's a morning espresso, an afternoon latte, or a late-night cold brew. The city's fast-paced lifestyle, combined with the influence of European and Latin American coffee traditions, has made coffee an indispensable part of New York culture. Number 11. The largest city in the world by area is Nagpur, located in China. This massive city spans an area of 450,000 square kilometers, which makes it larger than the entire country of Sweden. Despite its enormous size, Nagpur has a relatively small population, with vast portions of the region covered by mountains, grasslands, and harsh climates. It is part of the Tibetan Plateau and is known for its extreme weather conditions, high altitudes, and remote lifestyle. The sheer scale of Nagpur makes it an anomaly in the world of urban geography. Number 12. The tiny island nation of Niue holds a unique distinction as the world's first and only fully Wi-Fi covered country. The government of Niue provides free nationwide Wi-Fi access to all residents and visitors, making internet access more accessible than in many larger nations. With a population of only around 1,600 people, Niue is one of the smallest countries in the world, but its digital infrastructure is highly advanced. This initiative was launched in the early 2000s to promote education, communication, and business opportunities in the island nation. Number 13. Australia, despite being an entire continent, has a smaller population than the metropolitan area of Tokyo. While Australia is home to approximately 24.6 million people, the Tokyo metro area has a staggering population of over 38 million. This means that a single city in Japan has more people than an entire continent country that is more than 500 times larger. Australia's low population density is due to its vast arid interior, with most people living in coastal cities such as Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Number 14. The Falkland Islands, a British overseas territory in the South Atlantic, have the highest number of sheep per capita in the world. With a human population of only about 3,000 people, the islands are home to an astonishing 500,000 sheep. This means there are approximately 166 sheep for every person living there. The sheep farming industry is a major part of the Falkland economy, with wool and meat being significant exports. The harsh, windy climate and rugged landscape make the Falklands an ideal place for raising sheep. Number 15. Spanish is the official language of Guatemala, but the country is also home to 23 other officially recognized languages, most of which are indigenous Mayan languages. These languages include Quiche, Kaqchikel, Quechua, and Mam, among many others. Each indigenous community has its own linguistic and cultural traditions that have been preserved for centuries. In recent years, there have been efforts to promote bilingual education and ensure that indigenous languages are recognized and protected alongside Spanish, reflecting Guatemala's rich cultural and linguistic diversity. Number 16. The micronation of Ladonia, an unrecognized country established in Sweden in the year 1996, has one of the most unusual national anthems in the world. Unlike most anthems, which consist of lyrics and melodies, one of Ladonia's official anthems is simply the sound of a stone being thrown into water. This choice reflects Ladonia's artistic and unconventional nature, as it was founded by an artist, Lars Vilks, as a protest against government regulations. The micronation has its own flag, passports, and even a government, but it remains a symbolic and humorous declaration of independence rather than an officially recognized state. Number 17. Despite spanning a massive geographical area that covers 5 time zones, all of China operates on a single time zone known as Beijing time. This means that in some regions, such as the far western areas of Xinjiang, the official time can be several hours out of sync with the natural solar time. For example, in some parts of western China, the sun may not rise until nearly noon according to the official time. The decision to keep a single time zone was made to promote national unity and efficiency, although some ethnic minorities and local communities unofficially observe their own regional time. Number 18. New Zealand was the first country in the world to grant women the right to vote, achieving this milestone in the year 1893. This historic decision was largely influenced by the efforts of women's suffrage activists such as Kate Shepherd, who campaigned tirelessly for gender equality. New Zealand's neighboring country, Australia, followed suit 2 years later in 1895, but only some of its states granted women full voting rights at that time. New Zealand's early commitment to women's rights set an important precedent that inspired other nations around the world to expand voting rights to women. Number 19. While Russia is often assumed to be the country covering the most time zones due to its vast land area, it is actually France that holds the record when overseas territories are taken into account. France covers a total of 12 time zones because it has territories scattered across the world, including French Guiana in South America, Réunion in the Indian Ocean, and several Pacific islands. This means that at any given moment, different parts of France could be experiencing morning, afternoon, and night simultaneously, making it the most time-diverse country on the planet. Number 20. Iceland is the only NATO country without a standing army and is internationally recognized as the world's most peaceful country. It has consistently ranked at the top of the Global Peace Index, thanks to its low crime rates, lack of military conflicts, and strong social cohesion. Although Iceland does not have a military force, it does have a small coast guard and a peacekeeping unit. The country relies on NATO for defense and has historically maintained a neutral stance in global conflicts. This peaceful nature is reflected in Icelandic society, where violent crime is virtually non-existent. Number 21. India and Fiji are the only 2 countries in the world where Hindi is an official language. In India, Hindi is one of 22 officially recognized languages and is the most widely spoken language, especially in the northern states. Meanwhile, in Fiji, Hindi is spoken by a significant portion of the population, particularly by Indo-Fijians, who are descendants of Indian laborers brought to the islands by the British in the 19th century. While English is also an official language in Fiji, Hindi remains an important cultural and linguistic link to the country's Indian heritage. Number 22. The human thigh bone, or femur, is the strongest bone in the body and is even stronger than concrete. It has an incredible ability to withstand force and pressure, capable of bearing approximately 30 times a person's body weight. This strength is due to its dense structure and composition, which includes collagen for flexibility and calcium phosphate for hardness. Despite being so strong, the femur can still break under extreme trauma, such as high-impact car accidents. Its resilience makes it a crucial part of the skeletal system, providing support and stability for the entire body. Number 23. Incubators for premature babies were once a sideshow attraction at fairs and amusement parks. In the early 20th century, medical incubators were not widely available in hospitals, so a doctor named Martin County set up infantoriums at places like Coney Island, where premature babies were placed in incubators on public display. Visitors paid a small fee to see the tiny infants, and the money collected helped fund their medical care. While it may seem unethical by today's standards, Cooney's work actually saved thousands of lives and helped popularize the use of incubators in hospitals. Number 24. When a pregnant woman sustains an injury, her fetus plays a remarkable role in helping her heal. The developing baby sends stem cells to the site of the injury, aiding in tissue repair and regeneration. These fetal stem cells have been found in the mother's heart, brain, and liver long after birth, suggesting that they may continue to provide healing benefits throughout her lifetime. Scientists are still studying this phenomenon, known as microchimerism, to better understand how fetal cells contribute to maternal health and whether they could have potential medical applications. Number 25. The largest purchaser of explosives in the world is the United States government, primarily for military and construction purposes. However, the second largest buyer of explosives is an unexpected entity, Disney. The entertainment giant purchases massive amounts of pyrotechnics for its theme park fireworks displays, which happen nightly at locations like Disneyland and Disney World. These shows require a precise and consistent supply of fireworks, making Disney one of the biggest consumers of explosives in the world. The company's dedication to dazzling performances means it spends millions of dollars annually on these spectacular displays. Number 26. Russia is home to over 13,000 uninhabited villages, a consequence of population decline, economic shifts, and urban migration. Many of these deserted settlements were once thriving communities, particularly during the Soviet era, when rural areas were densely populated with farmers, factory workers, and miners. However, as industries collapsed and people moved to larger cities for better job opportunities, these villages were abandoned. Some of these ghost towns are located in remote, harsh climates where life was already difficult, making them unlikely to ever be repopulated. The Russian government has debated repurposing or revitalizing some of these empty towns, but many continue to decay and be reclaimed by nature. Number 27. Brussels Airport holds an unusual record. It sells more chocolate than any other single location on Earth. With more than 800 tons of Belgian chocolate sold every year, this airport is a paradise for chocolate lovers. Belgium is world famous for its high-quality chocolate, with brands like Godiva, Neuhaus, and Leonidas producing some of the finest confections. Tourists and travelers often take advantage of duty-free shopping to stock up on chocolates before departing, making the airport's sales skyrocket. The sheer volume of chocolate sold at Brussels Airport outpaces even major chocolate-producing regions like Switzerland and France. Number 28. South Africa is often referred to as the Rainbow Nation because it recognizes 11 official languages, reflecting its incredible cultural and linguistic diversity. These languages include English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Xhosa, and several indigenous tongues. The term Rainbow Nation was popularized by Archbishop Desmond Tutu after the end of apartheid, symbolizing the unity of different racial, ethnic, and cultural groups in the country. Despite its many challenges, South Africa remains one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world, with millions of people speaking multiple languages in their daily lives. Number 29. Antarctica holds a staggering 90% of the world's fresh water, but it remains locked in ice. The continent's ice sheets contain enough frozen water to raise global sea levels by nearly 60 meters if they were to melt completely. Despite this massive reserve of fresh water, Antarctica is one of the driest places on Earth, with some areas receiving almost no precipitation for millions of years. Scientists continue to study the continent's ice to understand climate change and its potential effects on global water supply and sea levels. Number 30. The most visited place in Europe is Disneyland Paris, attracting millions of visitors every year. Despite France being home to world-famous landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, Disneyland Paris consistently draws more tourists than any other single location. Opened in 1992, it has become the most popular theme park in Europe, welcoming families, Disney fans, and adventure seekers from around the world. The park's popularity stems from its magical atmosphere, thrilling rides, and beloved Disney characters, making it a must-visit destination for tourists in France. Number 31. The official animal of Scotland is the unicorn, a mythical creature that has been a symbol of purity, strength, and independence for centuries. While it may seem unusual to have a legendary beast as a national animal, the unicorn has deep historical significance in Scottish folklore and heraldry. It has appeared on the Scottish coat of arms since the 12th century, often depicted as a fierce, untamed creature that could only be subdued by a virgin. The choice of the unicorn reflects Scotland's long-standing tradition of myth and legend, adding to its rich cultural heritage. Number 32. 1/3 of all the airports in the world are located in the United States, making it the country with the most air travel infrastructure. With over 13,000 airports, ranging from major international hubs like Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport to small regional airstrips, The U.S. has a vast network to accommodate millions of passengers and cargo shipments. This high number of airports is due to the country's size, economic importance, and reliance on air travel for both domestic and international transportation. Number 33. Saudi Arabia is the only country in the world that does not have any natural rivers. While most countries have rivers that serve as a primary source of fresh water, Saudi Arabia relies entirely on underground aquifers, desalination plants, and seasonal wadis, dry riverbeds that only fill with water during rare rainfalls. Due to its arid climate, the country has invested heavily in desalination technology, making it one of the largest producers of desalinated water in the world. This allows Saudi Arabia to support its population despite having no rivers. Number 34. It is a common myth that the Great Wall of China can be seen from space. But in reality, this is not true. While the wall is an impressive structure spanning over 21,000 kilometers, it is not visible to the naked eye from the moon or even low Earth orbit. Astronauts have confirmed that it is extremely difficult to see without magnification because it blends into the natural landscape. The misconception likely arose from early space exploration myths, but scientific evidence has since debunked it. Number 35. Switzerland consumes more chocolate per capita than any other country, with the average Swiss person eating about 10 kilograms of chocolate per year. Swiss chocolate is world-renowned for its high quality, with famous brands like Lindt, Toblerone, and Nestlé producing some of the finest chocolates available. The Swiss take their chocolate seriously, incorporating it into desserts, hot drinks, and even savory dishes. The country's love for chocolate is reflected in its many chocolatiers and festivals dedicated to celebrating the art of chocolate making. Number 36. Brazil is named after a tree called pau-brasil, known in English as Brazil wood. This tree, which produces a reddish dye, was highly valued by Portuguese colonists when they arrived in the 16th century. It became a major export for the early colony, leading to the entire land being named after it. Brazil wood is also considered the national tree of Brazil, though deforestation and overharvesting nearly drove it to extinction. Today, conservation efforts are in place to protect the remaining Brazil wood forests and preserve the country's natural heritage. Number 37. Brazil covers nearly 50% of the South American continent, making it by far the largest country in the region. With a land area of over 8,500,000 square kilometers, Brazil is the fifth largest country in the world. It shares borders with every South American nation except for Chile and Ecuador. Despite its size, much of Brazil remains untouched wilderness, particularly within the Amazon rainforest, which is home to an extraordinary variety of plant and animal species. Number 38. The New York Public Library holds over 50 million books, making it one of the largest public library systems in the world. Founded in the late 19th century, it serves millions of readers and researchers each year across its 92 branches. The library's collection includes rare manuscripts, historical archives, and original works from famous authors. One of its most treasured items is a copy of the Gutenberg Bible, one of the earliest books ever printed using movable type. Number 39. If you open your eyes in a pitch-black room, the color you see is called Eigengrau, a German word meaning intrinsic gray or own gray. This phenomenon occurs because the human brain perceives a very dim shade of gray rather than complete darkness. Eigengrau is the result of neural activity in the visual cortex, even when no external light is present. It is often described as a dark grayish shade with a slight flickering effect, which is the brain's way of processing the absence of visual stimuli. Number 40. Ants were one of the first species to develop agriculture, cultivating fungi for food long before humans learned to farm. Leafcutter ants, for example, cut leaves into small pieces and transport them to their underground nests, where they use them to grow a specialized fungus. This fungus serves as their primary food source, making these ants some of the earliest known farmers on Earth. Their farming techniques are highly sophisticated, as they carefully manage the humidity, temperature, and chemical balance needed for fungal growth. Number 41. The nut that holds the blades of a helicopter together is called the Jesus nut, a term used by mechanics and pilots. This single, crucial component is responsible for keeping the rotor blades attached to the aircraft, and if it were to fail, the helicopter would lose control and crash. The name comes from the idea that if the nut were to break mid-flight, the pilot would have nothing left to rely on but divine intervention. Engineers perform rigorous maintenance checks to ensure that the Jesus nut remains secure. Number 42. The most effective hunter in the animal kingdom is the dragonfly, with an astonishing 95% success rate when hunting prey. Unlike other predators that rely on speed or ambush tactics, dragonflies use a highly advanced hunting strategy. Their large, compound eyes provide a nearly 360-degree field of vision, and their optic nerve connects directly to their wings. This allows them to track, predict, and intercept prey with incredible accuracy. Their 4 independent wings give them superior agility, making them nearly unstoppable hunters. Number 43. Italy and France together produce over 40% of all wine in the world. These two countries have a long history of winemaking, dating back thousands of years, and are home to some of the most prestigious vineyards. France is known for its Bordeaux, Burgundy, and Champagne, while Italy is famous for its Chianti, Barolo, and Prosecco. Both countries export millions of bottles of wine each year, supplying markets worldwide. Wine culture plays a significant role in their economies, traditions, and culinary experiences. Number 44. Sweden has the most islands of any country in the world, with over 221,831 recorded islands. Most of these islands are small, uninhabited, and scattered along Sweden's coastline. The Stockholm archipelago alone consists of more than 30,000 islands, islets, and skerries. These islands offer stunning natural landscapes, making Sweden a popular destination for boating, fishing, and outdoor activities. Many Swedes own summer cottages on these islands, enjoying the serene beauty of nature during the warmer months. Number 45. People in Iceland read more books per capita than in any other country. The country has a strong literary tradition, with 1 in 10 Icelanders publishing a book in their lifetime. This love for literature is celebrated through the annual tradition of Jólabókaflóð, or Christmas book flood, where Icelanders exchange books as gifts on Christmas Eve and spend the night reading. Bookstores thrive in Iceland, and authors are widely respected in society. The country's long, dark winters contribute to the popularity of reading as a primary form of entertainment. Number 46. The Taj Mahal, one of the most famous monuments in the world, is made entirely out of white marble. Commissioned by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in the 17th century, this breathtaking mausoleum was built as a tribute to his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. The marble was sourced from quarries across India and other regions, and the structure is adorned with intricate inlays of semi-precious stones. Over time, pollution and environmental factors have caused discoloration of the marble, leading to preservation efforts to maintain its original beauty. Number 47. Spanish is considered the happiest language in the world, containing the largest number of positive words compared to other languages. A study analyzing word frequency found that Spanish speakers use words associated with happiness, love, and optimism more often than speakers of other major languages. This linguistic positivity reflects the vibrant cultures of Spanish-speaking countries, where expressions of joy, warmth, and community are deeply ingrained. The language's rhythm, vowel-rich pronunciation, and expressive nature contribute to its lively and uplifting feel. Number 48. Monaco, the second smallest country in the world, is smaller than Central Park in New York City. With an area of only 2 square kilometers, Monaco is one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Despite its tiny size, Monaco is famous for its luxury lifestyle, casinos, and the prestigious Monaco Grand Prix. The country's economy is driven by tourism, banking, and real estate, making it one of the wealthiest nations per capita. Its limited space means that nearly every available piece of land has been developed. Number 49. The most spoken language in the world is Mandarin Chinese, with over 1.1 billion speakers. While English is widely spoken as a second language, Mandarin has the highest number of native speakers, primarily in China, Taiwan, and Singapore. The complexity of Mandarin's writing system, which uses thousands of characters instead of an alphabet, makes it one of the most challenging languages to learn. Despite this, its global influence continues to grow as China's economy and cultural impact expand worldwide. Number 50. The driest place on Earth is in Antarctica, specifically the McMurdo Dry Valleys near Ross Island. This region has not seen significant rainfall for millions of years, creating a landscape that resembles the surface of Mars. The extreme aridity is due to katabatic winds, which are incredibly dry and strong, evaporating any moisture before it can accumulate. Despite these harsh conditions, scientists have discovered resilient microorganisms surviving in the soil, providing insights into how life might exist in extreme environments on other planets. Number 51. Despite common misconceptions, there are no scientifically recognized names for the Sun and the Moon. While many people refer to them as Sol and Luna, these names come from mythology and historical language use rather than official astronomical designations. The International Astronomical Union, which governs the naming of celestial bodies, simply refers to them as the Sun and the Moon. This is because, in scientific contexts, stars and moons in other planetary systems are often given more specific names to distinguish them, whereas our own Sun and Moon are uniquely significant to Earth and do not require extra identifiers. Number 52. Greenland is the only country in the world that cannot join FIFA, the international governing body of soccer, due to its extreme weather conditions. The country's harsh Arctic climate makes it impossible to grow natural grass for soccer fields, which is a requirement for FIFA membership. Although Greenland has artificial turf fields and a national soccer team that competes in regional tournaments, it remains ineligible for official FIFA-sanctioned matches. The Greenlandic Football Association has pushed for changes to this rule, but so far, FIFA has maintained its natural grass requirement. Number 53. Suriname, a small country on the northeastern coast of South America, has the highest percentage of land covered by forest, with over 94.6% of its total area consisting of dense jungle. This makes Suriname one of the most pristine and untouched natural habitats in the world. The country's rainforests are home to an incredible diversity of wildlife, including jaguars, giant otters, and hundreds of bird species. Conservation efforts have been implemented to preserve Suriname's forests, which play a crucial role in maintaining global biodiversity and carbon absorption. Number 54. In Bulgaria, nodding your head up and down means no, while shaking your head side to side means yes. This is the opposite of most other cultures, leading to confusion for many visitors. The origins of this unique gesture system are unclear, but it is deeply ingrained in Bulgarian culture. Some historians believe it may have developed as a way to resist foreign rulers who attempted to enforce their customs. To avoid misunderstandings, many Bulgarians clarify their responses verbally when communicating with foreigners. Number 55. Despite being 115 times smaller in land area than Russia, Bangladesh has a higher population. Bangladesh is home to over 168 million people, making it one of the most densely populated countries on Earth. In contrast, Russia, the largest country by landmass, has a population of approximately 144 million, with vast, sparsely inhabited regions in Siberia. This striking difference highlights the extreme variation in population density between these two countries. Number 56. New York City is home to more Italian Americans than Rome, more Irish Americans than Dublin, and more Jewish people than Tel Aviv. The city has long been a major destination for immigrants, with large waves of Italians, Irish, and Jewish people arriving in the 19th and 20th centuries. As a result, New York has one of the most diverse cultural landscapes in the world. Italian, Irish, and Jewish traditions continue to thrive in the city, influencing its cuisine, architecture, and cultural celebrations. Number 57. Iceland is completely free of mosquitoes. Unlike almost every other country, Iceland's climate and natural conditions do not support mosquito populations. The country's freezing temperatures, lack of stagnant water, and rapid weather changes make it impossible for mosquito larvae to develop. While other Arctic regions do have mosquitoes, Iceland remains uniquely mosquito-free. Scientists have studied Iceland's environment to understand why mosquitoes cannot survive there, offering insights into mosquito control and disease prevention in other regions. Number 58. New York City is the most linguistically diverse place in the world, with over 800 languages spoken by its residents. The city's incredible diversity stems from its history as a major immigration hub. While English is the dominant language, large communities speak Spanish, Chinese, Russian, Bengali, Arabic, and many other languages. Some rare and endangered languages are even spoken in small pockets of the city. The linguistic variety of New York reflects its role as a global metropolis. Number 59. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona has been under construction for longer than the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Work on the church began in 1882, and it remains unfinished to this day. Designed by the visionary architect Antoni Gaudí, the basilica features intricate and innovative designs inspired by nature. The pyramids, by comparison, were built in about 20 years. The ongoing construction of the Sagrada Familia continues with funding from tourism, and it is expected to be completed in the 21st century. Number 60. Alaska is the most northern, eastern, and western state in the United States, a geographical quirk caused by the way longitude works. While it is the northernmost state due to its Arctic location, it is also the westernmost state because it extends far into the Pacific Ocean. However, Alaska also crosses the 180-degree meridian, which technically places part of it in the eastern hemisphere, making it the easternmost U.S. state as well. This odd fact makes Alaska a unique exception in geographic classifications. Number 61. The country of Nauru, the third smallest country in the world, does not have a capital city. Unlike most nations that designate a specific city as their administrative and governmental center, Nauru functions as a single island country with government buildings scattered across the island. The town of Yaren serves as the de facto capital, housing government offices and the airport. But it is not officially recognized as the capital. This makes Nauru one of the only countries in the world without a designated capital. Number 62. Sri Lanka has two official capitals, Colombo and Sri Jayawardenepura Kota. Colombo serves as the country's commercial and economic center, while Sri Jayawardenepura Kota is the administrative and legislative capital where the government operates. This dual capital arrangement allows Sri Lanka to balance its business activities with political governance. Many government buildings, including the parliament, are located in Sri Jayawardenepura Kota, which was designated as the capital in an effort to reduce congestion in Colombo. Number 63. South Africa is unique in that it has three official capitals, Cape Town, Pretoria, and Bloemfontein, each serving a different branch of government. Pretoria is the administrative capital where the executive branch is based, Cape Town is the legislative capital where Parliament meets, and Bloemfontein is the judicial capital where the country's highest courts are located. This system was designed to distribute political power across different regions and prevent any one city from dominating the government. Number 64. Cats spend approximately 3/4 of their lives asleep, making them one of the most sleep-prone animals in the world. On average, a cat sleeps between 12 to 16 hours per day, with some sleeping up to 20 hours. This high amount of sleep is due to their evolutionary need to conserve energy for hunting. Even domesticated cats retain this instinct, often taking short naps throughout the day and being most active during dawn and dusk, a behavior known as crepuscular activity. Number 65. Scientists have determined that a planet shaped like a donut, known as a toroidal planet, is theoretically possible. While no such planets have been discovered, computer simulations suggest that under specific conditions, a planet could form with a ring-shaped structure. The unique gravitational effects of a toroidal planet would create bizarre environments, including an unusual day-night cycle and extreme weather patterns. While unlikely to exist naturally, the concept fascinates astronomers and has been explored in science fiction. Number 66. The measurement of horsepower, which was originally devised by engineer James Watt in the 18th century, does not align perfectly with the actual power of a horse. In fact, one horse typically produces around 14.9 horsepower at its peak performance. The reason for this discrepancy is that Watt calculated horsepower based on the work rate of a particularly strong draft horse pulling coal out of a mine, leading to a higher theoretical value. Modern studies have shown that horses generate varying levels of power depending on their breed, size, and level of exertion. Number 67. The common belief that eating carrots improves eyesight was actually part of a World War II disinformation campaign used by the British military. The Royal Air Force developed radar technology that allowed pilots to locate enemy aircraft at night with unprecedented accuracy. To keep this advancement secret, the British government spread the rumor that their pilots had exceptional night vision because they ate large quantities of carrots. While carrots do contain vitamin A, which supports eye health, they do not give people superhuman vision. However, the myth has persisted for decades. Number 68. The largest tire manufacturer in the world is not a company that produces tires for cars or trucks, but rather Lego. The toy company produces over 300 million tiny rubber tires every year for its toy vehicles, surpassing major manufacturers like Bridgestone, Michelin, and Goodyear. These miniature tires are an essential part of many Lego sets, including construction vehicles, race cars, and airplanes. Although they are small, their mass production and popularity in the toy industry make Lego the world's top tire producer by volume. Number 69. Clouds that appear thick and opaque must be at least 150 feet thick for light to be completely blocked from passing through. The thickness of a cloud determines its ability to create shadows on the ground or cause overcast conditions. Thin clouds allow sunlight to filter through, while denser clouds, such as cumulonimbus storm clouds, can stretch for miles into the sky, creating total darkness during the daytime. Scientists study cloud thickness to predict weather patterns, as it plays a key role in storm development and precipitation. Number 70. If you are in bed and struggling to fall asleep, blinking constantly for about a minute can help induce tiredness. This technique forces your eyes to engage in repetitive motion, similar to how they behave when naturally growing tired. Rapid blinking stimulates the eye muscles, making them feel fatigued, which in turn can trigger yawning and relaxation. While this method is not scientifically proven for everyone, many people find it useful in reducing restlessness and preparing their bodies for sleep. Number 71. The distinctive smell of wet dirt after it rains is known as petrichor, and humans have evolved to be highly sensitive to it. The scent comes from a combination of plant oils, bacterial compounds, and geosmin, a chemical produced by soil-dwelling microbes. Ancient humans may have relied on their ability to detect this smell to find water sources in dry environments. Today, petrichor remains one of the most recognizable and pleasant natural scents, often associated with the refreshing feeling of rain after a dry spell. Number 72. Donkey Kong, the famous video game character created by Nintendo, got his name due to a language misunderstanding. Shigeru Miyamoto, the game's designer, wanted to name the character something that conveyed a sense of stubbornness or foolishness. He mistakenly believed that donkey was an English synonym for stupid, and combined it with Kong, which was often used in Japan to refer to apes, particularly due to the influence of King Kong. The name stuck, and Donkey Kong became one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. Number 73. The word typewriter is the longest word that can be typed using only the top row of a standard QWERTY keyboard. This unique fact makes it a favorite among trivia enthusiasts and keyboard users. The placement of letters on a keyboard was originally designed to prevent mechanical jams on early typewriters, and the word typewriter coincidentally ended up entirely on the top row. Many other words can be typed using only one row, but typewriter remains the longest commonly recognized example. Number 74. The Philippines is home to one of the most geographically unique formations in the world. An island within a lake, within an island, within a lake, within an island. This phenomenon occurs in Lake Taal, which contains Volcano Island. Inside Volcano Island is another lake, known as Crater Lake, and within Crater Lake lies Vulcan Point, a small island. This rare natural feature makes Vulcan Point one of the few islands in the world to be surrounded by water at multiple levels. Number 75. While the United States and Russia are only 4 kilometers apart at their closest point, there is a massive time difference between them. The two nations are separated by the International Date Line, which creates a 21-hour time difference between Big Diomede, Russia, and Little Diomede, US. This means that when it is Monday on one island, it is still Sunday on the other, earning them the nickname Tomorrow Island and Yesterday Island. Despite their proximity, travel between the two islands is highly restricted due to political and geographic barriers. Number 76. If you were to travel by land from North Korea to Norway, you would only have to cross one country, Russia. While these two nations seem far apart, their northernmost and easternmost points are connected via Russia's vast landmass. This means that a hypothetical journey from Pyongyang to Oslo by foot or car would only require passage through Russia, making it one of the longest single-country transits possible between two distant nations. Number 77. The invention of the ice cream cone is credited to New York City, where it gained popularity in the early 20th century. Although there are claims that edible cones existed earlier, the modern ice cream cone as we know it was first mass-produced and popularized at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. Ice cream vendors began serving their frozen treats in rolled-up waffles, creating a delicious, portable way to enjoy ice cream that is still a favorite today. Number 78. Outside of Antarctica, there is only one place on Earth that remains nobody's land, a region called Bir Tawil, located between Egypt and Sudan. This 2,060 square kilometer area is unclaimed by either country due to a border dispute. Unlike most territorial conflicts, where multiple nations vie for control, neither Egypt nor Sudan wants Bir Tawil because it lacks valuable resources. As a result, it remains one of the few places on Earth where no government has official jurisdiction. Number 79. In 2014, an American man named Jeremiah Heaton attempted to claim Bir Tawil as his own kingdom so that his daughter could become a real-life princess. He traveled to the unclaimed land, planted a flag, and declared it the Kingdom of North Sudan. His claim was never officially recognized by any government, but his story gained media attention as a modern-day attempt at creating a new country. His goal was to establish a nation focused on agricultural development and sustainability. Number 80. The shortest scheduled passenger flight in the world covers a distance of just 2.7 kilometers and lasts about 1.5 minutes. This route, operated by Loganair, connects the islands of Westray and Papa Westray in Scotland's Orkney Islands. On a good day, the flight can be completed in as little as 53 seconds, depending on wind conditions. Despite its brief duration, the flight is an essential link for the small communities that rely on it for transportation. Number 81. The longest non-stop scheduled airline flight in the world covers a distance of 15,344 kilometers between Singapore's Changi Airport and Newark Liberty Airport, which serves the New York City area. Operated by Singapore Airlines, this ultra-long-haul flight takes approximately 19 hours, making it the longest continuous commercial flight in operation. To enhance passenger comfort on such a lengthy journey, the airline uses specially designed aircraft with optimized seating, extra fuel efficiency, and improved air quality systems. Travelers on board this flight experience multiple time zones and drastic weather changes during their journey. Number 82. Libya is the country with the highest percentage of desert land in the world, with an astonishing 99% of its territory covered by arid, sandy landscapes. Much of Libya lies within the Sahara Desert, one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Some regions of Libya have gone decades without receiving a single drop of rain, making it one of the driest places in the world. Despite the harsh conditions, ancient civilizations such as the Garamantes once thrived there, using underground irrigation systems to sustain agriculture. Number 83. The Caribbean is home to more than 7,000 islands, but less than 1% of them are inhabited. While famous islands such as Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas are well known, thousands of smaller islands and cays remain untouched, covered in dense forests, coral reefs, and sandy beaches. Many of these uninhabited islands serve as important wildlife refuges, hosting unique species of birds, marine life, and tropical plants. Some are privately owned by wealthy individuals, while others are designated as nature reserves or national parks. Number 84. The longest tunnel in the world is the Gotthard Base Tunnel in Switzerland, stretching an incredible 57.1 kilometers. Opened in 2016, this tunnel runs through the Swiss Alps and is primarily used for high-speed rail transport. It took over 17 years to construct and required cutting through some of the hardest rock formations in Europe. The tunnel significantly reduces travel time between northern and southern Europe, making it one of the most important infrastructure projects in recent history. Number 85. Sunsets on Mars appear blue rather than the red and orange hues seen on Earth. This phenomenon occurs due to the way dust particles in the thin Martian atmosphere scatter light. Unlike Earth, where shorter blue wavelengths are scattered in all directions, Mars's atmosphere allows more blue light to pass through, especially during sunset. The effect is mesmerizing and has been captured by rovers such as Curiosity, providing scientists with insights into the atmospheric composition and weather patterns of the red planet. Number 86. Big Ben, the famous clock tower in London, is slowly leaning over due to ground subsidence. Engineers have detected a slight tilt, which has become visible to the naked eye. While the lean is only a few millimeters per year, if it continues at its current rate, the tower will reach an angle comparable to the Leaning Tower of Pisa in about 4,000 years. Efforts have been made to stabilize the structure, ensuring that this iconic landmark remains intact for generations to come. Number 87. Russia produces more oxygen than any other country in the world, thanks to its vast forests, which account for approximately 25% of the planet's total tree cover. Siberia alone contains an enormous expanse of boreal forests that act as a crucial carbon sink, absorbing millions of tons of carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. These forests play an essential role in regulating global climate patterns, earning Russia the nickname the lungs of the earth, alongside the Amazon rainforest. Number 88. Suriname has the highest percentage of land covered by jungle, with an astonishing 91% of the country being covered in dense tropical rainforest. Most of Suriname's population lives along the coast, while the interior remains largely untouched and unexplored. This vast jungle is home to an incredible diversity of wildlife, including jaguars, tapirs, and some of the world's rarest amphibians. Conservation efforts are in place to protect Suriname's pristine rainforest, which serves as a crucial part of the global ecosystem. Number 89. In a standard deck of playing cards, the King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache. This design choice dates back to historical European card decks, where the King of Hearts was often depicted as a noble ruler. Over time, the illustrations evolved, and through printing errors and artistic modifications, his mustache disappeared, giving him the unique appearance he has today. The King of Hearts is also sometimes referred to as the Suicide King, due to the way his sword appears to be stabbing his own head. Number 90. Ohio is the only U.S. state whose name does not share a single letter with the word mackerel. While this may seem like an odd fact, it highlights a curious linguistic coincidence. Every other state in the United States contains at least one letter from mackerel, but Ohio stands alone in not sharing any of its 4 letters with the word. This makes it a fun trivia fact and a favorite challenge among wordplay enthusiasts. Number 91. In India, you are legally required to obtain a license to fly a kite. This unusual law dates back to the British colonial era, when kites were sometimes used for surveillance or protests against authorities. Even though kite flying is a beloved pastime in India, especially during festivals like Makar Sankranti, strict regulations still exist in some areas. While the law is rarely enforced for casual kite flyers, those who use large or high-powered kites may still need official permission. Number 92. A group of rhinoceroses is called a crash, a name that perfectly suits these massive, powerful animals. The term comes from the way rhinos charge at threats or obstacles with incredible speed and force. Despite their bulky size, rhinos can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour, making them surprisingly agile. While they are generally peaceful creatures, rhinos will defend themselves aggressively if they feel threatened, using their strong horns as weapons. Number 93. In ancient history, Greek settlers in Central Asia founded a city called Alexandria Eskate, meaning Alexandria the Furthest, in what is now Tajikistan. This city became a key trading hub and was later involved in conflicts with the Han Chinese, who sought horses from the region. The demand for superior Central Asian horses played a role in the development of the Silk Road, one of the most significant trade routes in history. The blending of Greek and Asian cultures in this region left a lasting impact on art, architecture, and commerce. Number 94. Elephants have an advanced musculoskeletal system that gives them remarkable control over their movements. They can individually brake and accelerate each leg, similar to a 4-wheel drive vehicle. This ability allows them to navigate rough terrain with precision, making them highly adaptable to different environments. Unlike most animals, elephants do not have kneecaps on their front legs, which helps them distribute weight evenly and prevents joint injuries. Their unique leg structure contributes to their ability to walk silently despite their massive size. Number 95. Cher was the first woman to expose her belly button on American television. In the 1960s, strict broadcasting rules prohibited navel exposure on TV, considering it too provocative. However, Cher, known for her bold fashion choices, challenged these conventions by wearing a midriff-bearing outfit during a performance on the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Her defiance of television censorship paved the way for more relaxed dress codes in the entertainment industry, influencing fashion trends for decades to come. Number 96. The human jaw is capable of generating enough force to bite through a human finger as easily as biting through a carrot. However, psychological barriers prevent most people from actually doing so. The bite force of an average person ranges between 120 and 160 pounds per square inch, strong enough to break bone under the right circumstances. This fact has been referenced in horror stories and zombie fiction, but in reality, most people would never willingly apply such force. Number 97. Steel is technically in a frozen state at room temperature. Unlike water, which transitions between solid and liquid at relatively common temperatures, steel remains solid because its melting point is extremely high, around 1,500 degrees Celsius. The term frozen in this context refers to the solidification of molten steel during manufacturing, where it hardens into its final shape. Despite being solid, steel can still undergo microscopic changes over time, such as slow oxidation or stress-induced deformation. Number 98. In the blockbuster film Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid an astonishing $15 million for his role. With only about 700 words of dialogue in the entire movie, this means that each word he spoke was worth approximately $21,429. The iconic phrase, "Hasta la vista, baby," alone cost around $85,716. Despite his limited lines, Schwarzenegger's portrayal of the T-800 was so impactful that it remains one of the most famous roles in film history. Number 99. The difference between a graveyard and a cemetery lies in their locations and historical contexts. A graveyard is specifically attached to a church and is often smaller, while a cemetery is a separate burial ground that may not be affiliated with any religious institution. In earlier times, churches commonly maintained small graveyards for their congregations, but as populations grew, larger cemeteries were established to accommodate more burials. The distinction is subtle, but it provides insight into the evolution of burial traditions over centuries. Number 100. Male pufferfish are known for their intricate and symmetrical sand patterns, which they create to attract mates. These tiny fish, only a few inches long, spend days carefully constructing circular flower-like designs in the sand using their fins. The patterns serve both as a visual display and a protective nest for the female's eggs. If a female finds the design appealing, she will lay her eggs in the center, ensuring that her offspring receive the best possible environment. This behavior showcases the remarkable intelligence and artistic abilities of marine life. Number 101. Moose, despite their large and heavy bodies, are excellent swimmers and can dive up to 6 meters, 20 feet, underwater to forage for aquatic plants. Their long legs, powerful lungs, and buoyant bodies allow them to stay submerged for up to 30 seconds while searching for food. This unique ability helps them access vegetation that other herbivores cannot reach, giving them an advantage in their ecosystem. Moose calves learn to swim at an early age, and adults often take to the water